All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Harakakadash. Double honors to the apostle Ezra's great millstone, and salute signs to brothers out there, preachers, words, word, and truth. All right, coming to another lesson. Basically, just go over the history of the Passover, because today is April 2nd, so-called April 2nd, 2026, which is the Passover. All right, and actually, I'm going to come back to this Matthew. I'm going to grab the history on the Passat, okay? Exodus 12, all right? But I'm gonna read this whole chapter, all right? Just get into the history. So Exodus is when the Lord raised up Moses to be a savior to the nation of Israel. We were in captivity under the Egyptians, all right, which is Mizraim, one of the sons of Ham, all right, which is a dark-skinned race, the Hamites, so-called Africans. And the Lord raised up Moses to be our deliverer, all right, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. All right, Moses was the tribe of Levi, which would be the so-called Haitians today. Just to put it in proper perspective. So I'm gonna start at verse 1. I'm gonna just read through this fairly quick. It said Exodus 12:1. It said, "And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying." Now the word Egypt is an actual Greek word that means double straits of bondage. All right, slavery, captivity. And that's what the Israelites were in, captivity in ancient Egypt. All right. It said, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, and a lamb for an house. All right. Now we're in the modern day Egypt, which is America. All right. Actually, the word America means bitter. All right. This is a bitter captivity. All right, for the Israelites, and it's the last captivity for us. Now the Lord is releasing the captivity from off of us. All right, having these other nations, fight against each other during World War III. All right. So in this captivity, obviously, we can't keep the law to the letter. All right, we have to rehearse the righteous acts. We're just rehearsing. Rehearsing is righteousness. All right, because we can't get it 100% correct. All right, that's why Yahushua had to die for us. All right, his blood has to cover us. All right. I said, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for the house. All right, I'm going to go to Matthew 26, because that lamb is actually Yahushua. All right. And if the house hold be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish. A male of the first year, you shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. So you can actually hold a Passover using a goat as well. All right. It said, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. All right, so the 14th day of the first month, all right, is the Passat, Passover. Which the new year starts in the springtime, man. All right. It said, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening, and they shall take it of the blood and strike it on the two side posts on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roasted fire, unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. And the bitter herbs basically is horseradish. You know, they say salad in the tea, but it's actually horseradish. That's bitter, all right? Salad ain't bitter, man. And it goes deeper. The horseradish goes back to the, I believe the scientific word is crucifix or something like that. You know, it's actually spiritual, man. Crux, crucifix, something like along those lines. All right, and the bitter herb, man. All right, that's what you're supposed to use, horseradish. It said, they shall eat it, unleavened bread that has no yeast in it, okay? It said, eat not of it raw nor sodden, which is boil it, at all with the water, but roast it with fire. His head with his legs, with all the pertinence thereof. Say the internal organs, which is correct. It said, ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, that which remaineth till the morning ye shall burn with fire. So you have to burn the bones and the fat, you know, burn it all, okay? It said, and thus shall ye eat it, with the loins girded, with your shoes on your feet, or the staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. All right, because after the plagues was 10 plagues. All right, we had to get up out of there, man. We was basically in a rush, you know, in the land of Goshen, which was basically an outside suburb of outside of Egypt. All right, that's where all the Israelites dwelled at, in the land of Goshen. Okay. So this day, the Passover, we was in a hurry, all right, to get up out of there and go to the wilderness, you know, verse 12, I will pass through the land of Egypt this night and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be, and this is going to be the same way here in America, man. All right. Lord going to use, you know, going to use it was that 2nd Ezra 15. And Lord going to smite the land of Egypt as before. All right. So America is the modern day Egypt. All right. So similar plagues is going to hit this place. It said, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the house wherein you are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you. All right, because the Lord sent out a death angel. If you ain't follow the law of the Passover, and you prerequisite, you have to be an Israelite from the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. You're supposed to have that blood on your doorposts. If you didn't, you would have been put to death. So obviously all the Egyptians were, their sons were put to death. Okay? Because it said the firstborn sons. Yeah. And the animals, firstborn animals, yep. So obviously the ancient Egyptians didn't follow the Passover because there wasn't Israelites. All right. Now you did have a mixed multitude, were cleaving unto the Israelites, and that's why they didn't, get judged. You know. But this time the Lord's only dealing with Israel, man. The Lord's only delivering Israelites. All right. Because what happened in the wilderness, all right, that mixed multitude, they cursed the Most High, and so the Lord had to put them to death. All right, so the Lord ain't dealing with the mixed multitude no more, man. For example, you had Moses' wife. I believe she was was she Cush? She was of another nation, but yeah, she made it out. So yeah, you had mixed multitude cleaving to the Israelites in that time. All right. It said, verse 14, "This day shall be unto you for a memorial. You shall keep it a feast for the Lord throughout all your generations." All right, so from ancient Egypt, was 33,000 years ago, something like around that time, circa, all the way to now, 2026. All right. The Lord gave us His knowledge, so we have to rehearse the righteous acts, especially on the Passover, man. Said, keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You should keep it a feast by ordinance forever. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. But now in the feast of unleavened bread, so no yeast, flatbreads, man. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses, for whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. Okay, so if you acknowledge you're an Israelite, all right, you gotta keep the Passover to the best of your ability. All right, so do not eat, do not knowingly eat leavened bread or have leavened bread in your house. All right. Now Esau is such a devil, the so-called white man, this biblical nationality, Esau, Edom. He's such a devil. He puts yeast extract and all kind of leavening agents, and it ain't even got to be bread. It can just be some type of seasoning packets. It'd be some seasoning. You can put it in some type of liquid, like in a barbecue sauce or some shit. So, you got to be looking at the ingredients and all that. It's not simple as, bread, Esau's such a devil, man. So you got to be vigilant of, looking at them ingredients, to the best of your ability, The Lord knows the reins of hearts of men, man. If you're trying or not, But verse 16, the first day shall be a holy convocation. And the seventh day there shall be an holy convocation, basically a Sabbath. To you, no manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And ye, in this captivity, you might have to work, because we're subject unto payments, right? All right. It say, ye shall observe the feast. That's why we need Yahweh Shai to come die for us, because we can't keep the Passover 100% correct. Not in this captivity. Like I said, you might have to work, because you're subject to payments. You miss a day of work, you get kicked out your apartment or your rental house or some shit. You might need the money, to pay your rent, so or pay your car note or whatever. So Yeah. So the letter of the law, will be done. But we need a Yahweh shot. That's why I'm going to go to Matthew 26. So I'm going to read a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to read a little bit more of this. All right. What I'll leave off first? 16. And in the first day there should be a holy convocation, and the seventh day there should be a holy convocation to you. No matter of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this self same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day your generations by ordinance forever. All right. So you read the rest of it if this is the Passover. Now let's go to Matthew 26. All right, Matthew 26:1. All right. Now we observe the Passover. Now we think on Yahweh Shai and his walk in the ministry. His crucifixion. We think upon those things because Yahweh Shai is the Lamb. All right. Because back in Exodus, it was more carnal, because we had to follow the letter to the T, because we couldn't do it. So that's why the Lord put us through all these captivities on these other nations as punishment. All right, because we couldn't follow the law. Now we need Yahweh Shai to come, cover us with his blood, primarily the elect. All right, because the Lord's only really dealing with the elect. All right, he kept a grape of the cluster of grapes. Just pulled off one grape, the elect. That's what the Lord's dealing with. All right, but essentially all Israel gonna be saved through the loins of the elect. So. That's why Yahweh Shai is so important. All right. And it came to pass when Yahweh Shai had finished all these sayings, he said unto the disciples, ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. See? So during the Passover, that's when the Lord is crucified, man. It said, then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders and the people unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and consulted that they might take Yahweh Shai by subtlety and kill him. They said, not on the feast day. All right, because you had wicked Israelites back then that think they thought they followed the law to a T, but they couldn't. They were actually wicked, man. And Yahweh Shai came and brought spirituality. He brought the understanding. So the Lord said judgment, mercy, and faith. The weightier matters of the law. All right. Them wicked Pharisees and scribes, they'll keep trying to keep the law to the letter. You can't do it, man. And we was under the Roman persecution back then too. All right. It said, but they said not the feast day, lest there be any uproar among the people. Yeah, because this is in Jerusalem, right? In the land of Israel. All right, so picture so-called Negroes, so-called black men. All right, Just picture it, in Jerusalem, all right, was inhabited by so-called black men that knew that they were Israelites. You know, they kept the heritage of being Israelites. They tried to, all right. They said they want to do it on the feast day because of what is going back to Exodus 12 is known as like a Sabbath day. It's a holy convocation, all right. It said, now when Yahushua was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, they came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? Because that oil was expensive oil, But you got to understand, this is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Yahushua. The King of Kings used nothing but the best, man. All right, but Jake was meaning his disciples, especially the nigga, son of perdition, nigga. Damn, what the fuck, man? I gotta Judas, nigga Judas. It's like I had a brain fart. This nigga Judas was coming up against the Lord because so-called wasting the oil. All right, but the Lord's the King of Kings, man. The Lord used nothing but the best, man. And especially the Lord's going on the cross in a few days or whatever, They said, for this ointment might be been sold for much and given to the poor. But when Yahushua understood it, he said unto him, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. See, that was a good thing, man. For ye have the poor always with you. Yeah, there's always going to be poor. That's how the Lord set it up. There's always going to be rich. There's always going to be poor. Okay? The have and have-nots, especially in the Roman Empire. All right? And fast forward to today, America's modern-day Roman Empire as well. Okay? It said, but me ye have not always. See? The Lord is going to be crucified and depart from the earth. It said, for in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Really I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also that this woman have done be told for a memorial of her. All right, so that woman is the part of the elect. It said, then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests and said unto them, what will ye give me, and I will deliver him unto you? And they conveniently covenant with him for 30 pieces of silver. And from the time he sought opportunity to betray him, now the first day of the feast, unleavened bread, disciples came unto Yahushua, saying unto him, where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, the master saith, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. And the disciples and Yahushua had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now when the evening was come, he sat down with the 12. As they did eat, he said, verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, he that dippeth his hand with me in a dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth as is written of him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed, which was Judas Iscariot. All right. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, it is I. He said unto him, Thou hast said. So it's basically you know. All right. It said, that's what the point right here. It said, and they were eating. Yahushua took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, Take, eat, this is my body. All right, so that basically represents the unleavened bread, you know. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, the New Covenant, which you can read in Jeremiah 31 and 31. It's that Hebrews 10, I think Hebrews, the 10th chapter, all right, which is shed for many of the remissions of sins, all right. So the blood of the Lamb, man. And the Lamb is Yahushua because he sacrificed. He was sacrificed when crucified. All right. It said, But I say unto you, I will not drink his fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. All right. So, yeah, Yahushua is the Passover, you know. Just we get the blood on the doorposts, you know. So, Yahushua's blood got to be sprinkled upon you with your doorposts, your spiritual doorposts, all right, which is your spirit, you know. That's the blood. So when all hell breaks loose, the Lord, you know, gonna send his angels, and they're gonna see that Yahushua's blood is upon you, all right, and they're gonna pass over you, which they're gonna deliver you, all right. What was the other one that we bring out? 1 Corinthians 11. I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 11 and 23. For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. Do in remembrance of me. After the same manner, he also took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as you drink it in remembrance of me. All right. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Okay. Then it goes in, every man examine himself, you know. You have to observe the Passover. You have to be worthily, you know, drink the Passover worthily. You got to be sincere, all right? And Passover is a solemn assembly. It's a serious solemn assembly, okay? Because in Matthew 26, that was a serious time, man. Because the Lord was about to be crucified. All right, so you got to be in the spirit of being sincere and solemn. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to bring those scriptures out. And these are the scriptures that we go over through the service, Passover service. All right, so that's pretty much all I got. Shalom.